during the course of the year. Which is number 4 here, the creation of Fund 125, EMS Restricted Revenue Fund. Paul Lewis, when we do the 2011 presentation, he's going to go in more detail exactly what this number represents, but in the short term, we have money that's from property taxes that's specifically identified for EMS purposes. And again, when we do the 2011 budget presentation here in a few minutes, Paul will talk also more specifics around that number. Number 5 is a creation of Fund 352. It's the ECBG Grant Fund. And in your packet they handed out, there's a spreadsheet that talks about what that proposed budget is for EC Grant Fund. It's we have $415,000 coming in from a grant, and we're the lead agency for the grant. So we're also receiving invoices from Battleground and Camas for LED lighting, and we're not only going to cover some expenses ourselves, but we're also need to identify this revenue coming in expenditures as well, a total of $415,000. On top of that, in the supplement, we'll also have an additional expenditure to the general fund. It's going to increase expenditures by $179,700. Of that $179,000, we'll also increase revenues by $134,700. So the net effect is the net effect is a $45,000 increase that will be coming out of general fund reserves. The number 6 one is when we budgeted the 2010 budget, I think the assumption that we had made was that the PED tunnel was going to be originally done by the end of 2009. We didn't increase the budget expenditures in the REAP fund in 2010. This reflects the $1.2 million in revenue and $1 million expenditures is what we need to budget to show this is revenue coming in, expenditures going out that we've actually occurred for this program, which was originally budgeted in 2009. We just didn't carry it forward in 2010. Yes.
On number 6 there, so you got a 1.2 million loan or grant?
It was grant.
It was a grant?
Yes.
You don't
No
have to
loan.
repay.
It was all grant money.
Okay, so you spent $1 million of it, so you've got $200,000 left.
We encumbered $200,000 in 2009 of expenditures from last year's
Okay,
finance
so
statement.
you
So this
used
is,
up the whole,
yeah.
all right, thanks.
The number 7 here, the park impact fees, when we budgeted 2010, we did not budget any expenditures in park impact fee funds. In the past, they've always had some kind of encumbrance or expenditure in that fund for trail development for Eldridge Park and trail developments in some of the other parks as well. This just asks for that, and this is all paid for park impact fees. So they're dedicated revenues for this purposes, but this gets expenditure so that we can lessen the obligation on general fund and move the appropriate costs back to park impact fees. Number 8, our drug fund, Fund 141, we received more money this year from seizures in revenue, and in that case, we also had some drug-related cases that also exceed expenditures that we originally budgeted for it. So the net effect of the drug fund is that we're asking to increase revenues by, I believe, $22,000 and increase expenditures by $22,000 offset. So we actually have a revenue to expenditure recognition there. And the drug fund, again, these revenues are specifically dedicated for drug-related cases. The number 9 is the pass-through grant from Department of Ecology. We had $157,000 that will be coming in this year in revenue from DOE, all grant money. When we originally budgeted for the vac truck, the number that we had given, the number that I got, not communicating with that department, it was a net figure of $275. What we really should have done is budgeted $325 for the truck, and then budgeted $50,000 of revenue from DOE. In that time, we just approved a $107,000 grant from DOE at the last council meeting. So this recognizes all the revenue that we get from DOE plus the extra $50,000 in expenditures for the vac truck.
I have a quick question about that. I know we just signed the authorization for the grant itself. Are we assured that the money will be coming in 2010?
As soon as they have that in October, they've already got the invoice for it from the original 50,000. So the anticipation is that we would get that turnaround in 2010.
Okay, thanks.
That money was appropriated in Olympia for this year, so ordinarily it would have to be spent in this year.
That's, and then off a side note, that's been a nice thing about this particular grant with DOE is that we've been able to have one item, which is the vac truck, so it's been made reporting very, very easy for us on this one. Then the last one, when we originally budgeted for the East Street project, we included all the expenditures in our traffic impact fee fund, which is Fund 110. In doing so, by doing that, we've put a capital project in a traffic impact fee fund. What we would like to do, this is really more of an accounting sense, since we have better numbers now for East Street, is actually move that project from Fund 110, just leave that as the traffic impact fee is coming in there, and set up a capital fund, which we identify as Fund 350. We've used that fund in the past, but to move all the dollars there so we can specifically track, I believe, 7 funding sources, along with the expenditures related to each source, so that we have a direct correlation. When we spend a dollar, we know exactly what fund is paying for that. Then there is some money still coming out of traffic impact fee funds, but it'd be a revenue transfer from traffic impact fees to the capital fund. Same as on the water capital side. We have the water line project that we're going to do, so we'll have a revenue transfer from 406 into this capital fund to just do the water line side of it. So that's what that number 10 is, to establish all those transfers, capture all the costs in the capital fund, and then be able to track those dollars very specifically. And in the handouts that I emailed out, it kind of lists a very large line item detail of each funding source and the expenditure we would capture for that. The one thing about this fund going forward, too, is, it will budget a large number in 2010, because we don't exactly know what the ending dollar amount would be for this year. So that would be one that would carry forward in 2011, or 2011. The project isn't done then we'd probably have some kind of carry forward in 2012, but I'm pretty sure the project's gonna be done in 2011.
And we should be completely funded in 2011?
Yes.
Expended?
So,
That's all?
I wanted to keep it somewhat quick. So the outcome for general fund, the adopted budget in December 2009 for general fund and streets was $11,350,000. When I add supplemental budgets number 1 and 2 together, it reduces the budget down to $11,140,096, which is a reduction total with the 2 supplements of $209,446. We had just done telling you that we reduced the general fund budget by almost $1 million, but that does change with the second supplement. What's in the difference between these numbers, why it grew back up to only a $209,000 deficit, is we have supplement 1 of $663,146, and then the supplemental ordinance number 1 also of $326. That reduces this general fund by $989,146. And then in the second supplement, we have the $600,000 that we need to dedicate just for EMS services that we'll get to in the 2011 budget presentation, and then also the creation of the ECB grant creates a expenditure of $179,700. So that's where the net effect of this $209,446 reduction comes in. Are there any questions?